What's up everyone, Art at Overtake, and today I'm going to be showing you how to install the Overtake bypass valve recirculation hose. If you guys are watching this video, you're probably familiar with the Overtake bypass valve hose. These have been hugely popular over the last 4 or 5 months since we released them, and we included them as part of an installation on the Overtake turbo inlet video. I'll throw a link up here so you guys can check that out. What we really want to do is do a standalone video with just the bypass valve hose, and when the engine's in the car, it's really hard to see. So luckily we have this JDM EJ255. It's going to be the same pretty much across the board with all 2.5 turbo engines. So we're going to be able to get around, get some really nice shots for you guys. But before I do that, I'd like to unbox this and show you exactly what comes in this kit. What's inside the kit is pretty self-explanatory. You're going to see the bypass valve hose itself, and then also a couple of brand new clamps. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with where this goes, where the hose starts is right there, and it kind of snakes under the throttle body to there. Why don't we start with removing this, and I'll show you exactly how we can put the new Overtake unit in its place. Taking the intercooler off is pretty straightforward, but in case you don't know, let me point out all the mounting locations. So the first two are for the bypass valve right there. Then you have these grommets on either side. As long as you pop those off, the intercooler will be loose. And then the last couple of things are just the clamps for the throttle body coupler and then the Y pipe down here. So as long as you don't miss any of those, the intercooler should pop right off for you. Getting the intercooler off was super easy. The last couple of steps you guys will have to do is take the hoses off the PCV crossover pipe right here, and then the whole thing will pull right out of the car. You can see I flipped the engine here so you guys can take a nice look at the factory bypass valve hose. It's right there, and it's going to be really easy to take off. We're going to start with the clamp down there, and the whole unit will pull right out. Well, the hose pops off just like that. You can see you took your bypass valve with it. One thing to mention is you guys will have a hose right here, so just pop that right off. And then once you get the whole unit disconnected, you can pull that clamp, and obviously we're going to reuse the bypass valve, but not the factory hose itself. Well, there you go. My bypass valve was a little stuck on, a little crusty in there, but that's what you can expect with a 25-year-old engine. The hose itself is pretty busted as well. It kind of collapses in under itself, and there is some cracking happening, and these clamps could use replacing. Good thing is we're not going to use any of that. We're going to use the supplied stuff in the kit and get the Overtake bypass valve hose installed. The hardest part of this hose install is getting the portion on the turbo inlet, and you can fish it through. What I'm going to do to make it a little bit easier on myself is actually pull the throttle body out of the way. Now, you don't have to disconnect everything you see. It's really just the 4 bolts right there, and you can pivot it out of the way. That'll give us a lot more room to work on and a better view for you guys to see on video. If you guys went as far as unbolting the throttle body, then I would also recommend having one of the Overtake throttle body gaskets on hand. What you want to do is just clean everything off, make sure it's all good to go before you reassemble. And another tip is just stick a rag in the manifold, that way nothing gets in there. Just do not forget that once you bolt everything up. At this point, we could throw a clamp on the Overtake bypass valve hose for the inlet side. And then if you want to put a little water or moisture around the inlet, that will help get this on. And then we just maneuver it into place. Like I said, this is probably going to be the hardest part of the install, just finagling the hose onto the inlet. If you use something like a little pry bar or a flathead screwdriver, the inlet does have some play, so it opens up a bit of room, and then you just wiggle that hose right in. The clamp is last, but before you fully tighten it, hold off since we need it to move just a little bit. Now what we can do is get that throttle body back on. Don't forget to pull the rag and then get the new gasket in, and then the hose is gonna route just like that. The last step having to do with the hose is getting the bypass valve on. So slip the clamp over, and then you can thread that right in. Again, if you need to use a little moisture to get it in there, would be fine. This one looks like it's going in okay. Now that we've got the hose routed how we like, you can see it's a bit of a tight fit here, but the name of the game is to get it down low as much as possible. So that's why we didn't tighten this clamp all the way. You could rotate it in just like that, give you the most amount of room to be able to hook up the Y pipe to the turbocharger. Now after you have it where you like it, just tighten that clamp. You can leave this one relatively loose, and then we could put the top mount intercooler on. I won't do a step-by-step on that, just reverse the removal. We'll time lapse through it and I'll show you the end result. There you go, getting the intercooler on was super easy. If you guys did things right, then you're pretty much wrapped up. Just remember, double check all your clamps, make sure they're nice and tight, especially the ones on the hose, since we kept those loose until we were able to hard mount everything. Don't forget to reattach the hose on the PCV crossover. There are 3, 1 and 2 on the passenger side and 1 on the driver's side right here. Then of course, you're gonna be reconnecting your bypass valve, so this is a good time to pick up an overtake gasket for that as well. Make sure you get those bolts snugged up, and you should be all done. Now, you guys saw what the hose looked like outside of the car. We also have a black version of it. You can hop on to overtakeusa.com to pick up either or. I'm gonna throw a link down in the description, and you guys can get on the website and pick one up today. There's also a bunch of little things that you can do along the way. The Y-pipe kit comes to mind, the isolator, grommet bushings on either side, the intercooler as well. So check out the website while you're there. And of course, if you're liking what we're doing with these products and our media, subscribe on @OvertakeUSA.
DM it on @OvertakeUSA.
DM us, Daddy. Do it now.